Hey there, this is Dr. Jewa Lea with day 20 of the Whole Heart Living series. And today we're going to start delving into sacred geometry. I have been talking about it in previous videos that we were going to get to a point where we're going to start speaking about the sacred geometry of the heart. But before I can do that, I need to give you some background or like a sacred geometry primer. So that you can understand how we come up with the things that we come up with in as far as sacred geometry is concerned. So if you were to think of everything in the universe, if you were to stuff everything in the universe all in one place, the theory is that since everything is there, you would actually have nothing, because you have nothing to compare it to. Another thing that they use in sacred geometry to understand the basics of it is just starting out with a single point. Okay, so this is just a single point that, right here, that represents the all. Okay, and so the theory goes is that if the all wanted to experience itself, it would have to separate from itself in order to observe itself. And so what you would end up with would be 2 points. So now you have the all, and then the observer of the all. So now we have a dualistic universe, as opposed to just a unified universe, okay, where everything is just everything. Stick with me here. So if you have 2 points, then the relation between those 2 points is a straight line. So you have the straight line in between these 2 points. But you also have another relationship other than a straight line between these 2 points. You have the line, and then you have an arc. And so now you have this line, but you also have an arc. So you have this point in relation to this point all the way around. And so that forms the circle that is, again, the all. But since you have 2 points, you can also have another arc, and the other arc would be in relation to this point. So you have this line, and then the arc in relation to this point, making this circle. But then you also have this point that has an arc related to it as well. And it ends up looking like this. So now you have 2 interlocking circles, which started off with a single point being separated into 2 because there was a desire to experience itself, to observe itself. And so now you have these 2 interlocking circles. And in sacred geometry, these 2 interlocking circles are known as spirit and matter. Okay? So we have spirit and matter. And that is what the basis of our universe is. It's known as a dualistic universe because we have both spirit and matter. We're able to know dark because we understand light. We know good because we understand bad. And so we're able to observe one thing because we know the other. Okay? And so with sacred geometry, this interlocking space is known as the Vesica Pisces, or the sign of the fish. It's also known as the Christ. And so the interlocking of spirit and matter, the interfacing of spirit and matter, forms in sacred geometry what is known as the Christ. Now, the math in this is interesting because yesterday, when I spoke of the heart sitting in a cube, actually, is it this way? This way. The heart sitting in a cube with the point of the heart at the bottom and the base of the heart at the top. Am I doing this right way? No, it's this way. Okay, yeah, like that. Like this. I'll get it together sooner or later. Like this. Okay. So this is my left side. Heart is pointing down this way. Okay. And we spoke of this measurement of this line being the square root of 3, meaning that it's in a unit cube, it is the square root of 1 plus the square root of 1 plus the square root of 1, which is the depth. So you have height, width, and depth to come up with this line. Also, and so we spoke of how this line here is called the square root of 3. Well, interestingly enough, the measurement of the ratio of this line right here, if I was to draw a line from the intersection of this point here down to here, and the ratio of that is the square root of 3. So the Christ in sacred geometry terms is known as the square root of 3. So when we speak of the Christ is not a person in these terms. It is an energy. It is the intersection of spirit and matter, and the measurement of that is the square root of 3. So the heart sits at root 3, just like the Vesica Pisces is root 3. So the heart is the intersection of spirit and matter within every person in sacred geometry terms. And also from the research that has been done on how it operates and how it's running everything, and how it's able to transcend space and time with its sensing through intuition and all that. The heart is a powerful interface with our higher selves. We can look at how we speak of the chakras, and the heart is the pivot, meaning that it's the doorway from the lower physical chakras to the upper spiritual chakras. And so all of this is starting to tie together even in the mathematics around the heart. Now, how powerful is it that we can look at math, numbers that really can't be manipulated to suit itself? I mean, numbers really don't lie. That's one of the things that a lot of mathematicians like about numbers, is that when you do a proof, you can verify it because the numbers don't change and the numbers don't lie. So of all of the different positions that the heart could be in, it is in a position of root 3. which is the same as this, which mirrors the energy of the chakras. How powerful is that? I mean, it could have been the square root of 2, which is just the height, square root of 1, plus the square root of 1, meaning the height and the width of a square. But it's not that. It doesn't sit at 45 degrees. It sits at 36 degrees as the square root of 3. So we're going to delve into even more things about how this sacred geometry ties in to the shape of the heart and the structure of the heart on the next time we get together. I'm sorry about the darkness here. I'm on vacation, y'all, so the day got away with me. They got away from me for the sunlight to be able to provide the light that I needed. But hopefully, you can see my hand-drawn diagrams. And if you have any questions about what I'm showing you, feel free to leave any comments. I'll answer everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe. And now we're going to start delving into the mystical, sacred geometry, mathematical, structural components of the heart that all ties together with what we've covered thus far into one neat package. So join me for the final 8 days of the Whole Heart Living series, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Love you.